Okay, here we go. So, was Charlie Kirk a racist? That's going to be the next 4 weeks. And yes, it's going to be 4 weeks. The reason is because I'm seeing a group of videos that people are pointing to try to make the claim that Charlie Kirk was a racist. Okay, and so what I'm going to do, I've kind of went through a ton of information, and I'm going to take weeks and handle one at a time, right? So the whole week is going to be over that topic. So this week's going to be over affirmative action. What did Charlie Kirk and Turning Points believe about affirmative action? And when you understand that, how you can see the video about Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and them as not a racist thing, right? And that matters, right? If you don't understand the context, then you're going to see it through the lens that you want to see it through, rather than the lens that it was intended in the context that it was spoken, right? And that matters. It should matter. It matters to truth. It may not matter to you. It doesn't matter to confirmation bias. It matters to truth. And I think truth does matter. So what I'm going to do is this whole week is going to be over affirmative action, right? We're going to cover a big chunk today, and then tomorrow we're going to do the video. We're going to do a breakdown of the video, and then I've got some other things on affirmative action of how it hasn't helped Black community and why Charlie took the position that he did, and to just show you that everything he said surrounding affirmative action inside of these videos had nothing to do with racism. Had nothing to do with racism. But leading up into this, I need to say a few things. Number one, there will be no short answers. This video is not going to be short. I'm not going to try to make it short. I'm going to make it thorough. I'm going to make it, the goal is truth. The goal is getting to the truth, not to meet your demands, right? We live in a society where it's all about me. Serve me. Make it easy on me, right? Give me the cliff notes. Give me the information I want to hear. That's not my goal. My goal is not you. My goal is the truth, okay? We've been marketed to for so long. That's how we want to arrive at the truth, and that's not how you get to the truth. You have to really dig. You have to pay attention. You have to really desire it to get there. I know you have to go back to get to your TV show, but if you're really interested in the truth of these matters, which I think it does matter, then stay tuned. Pay attention. Okay, messaging has consequences. Ideas have consequences. I also want to say I'm not trying to reach everybody. Right? Some of you out there try to pretend like you're open-minded, but your mind is made up. You have no desire to go down this path of discovery. Right? You have no desire. Those people spewing hate, they have no desire. You need to be careful who you're listening to. You need to be careful who you're listening to. There are so many people that are taking this opportunity just to grow their content. And they're spewing hate on a level that I've never seen. And they're saying things, right, that make absolutely no sense, and it shows me immediately that they haven't looked into anything. They're just saying things quickly. I don't want to say things quickly. I want to discover. I am open-minded. I have had people come to me and try to show me that Charlie is a racist or a bigot or all that, and I have not responded to them quickly. I've went and looked at the information that they're giving me. My only problem with all of them is they're wanting me to make a decision about Charlie on less information, not more. On clips that they have received from people chopped up, on one clip chopped up. They want me to make a decisive decision on that, and I'll say I can't. I have to go look. I have to go discover. I have to take the time to see if it's true or not, because my goal is the truth, not confirmation bias. And so I'm open to having my mind changed, but you're going to have to come at me with more information, not less. Okay, more information, not less. So one thing I want you to ask yourself as we go down through this is, number one, who is saying what and why should I listen to them? Who's saying what and why should I listen to them? And if you're just listening to certain people because they're white or because they're black, you need to check your heart. You need to check your heart. If them being white or black is reason for you to listen to them, you need to check your heart. All right, I'm just going to tell you that. You need to check your heart. Another thing I want us to consider is, have you ever debated? Like, have you ever debated? Do you have a point of reference for Charlie Kirk and what he did on a daily basis? And the answer is probably no, right? The answer is probably no. But I want you to consider something. Charlie Kirk has thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of content on the internet. where he debated people. And most people in debates, they know their opponent, they've prepared for their opponent, they've read the information, it's in some kind of controlled environment, the rules have been set, and they know that there's not going to be any hatred going back and forth. That's not the environment that Charlie was in. He came into an environment in hostile territory, had no idea what the other person was going to say, right? None of that. And he would give the mic to people that were throwing hatred at him continuously. Continuously. Yet he kept his composure, he stayed self-control, and he delivered a message back to them with love and care. Perfectly? No. None of us are perfect. But what's interesting is all of you are sending to me the same videos over and over and over and over again. Even though he has thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of video, it's the same video circulating. That's interesting, right? That you only got a handful of videos that you can take out of context to even make your point. Even though he has thousands upon thousands of hours. That's a point worth considering immediately. Immediately. Okay? All right. So, before we jump in, I want to take the low-hanging fruit immediately. Okay? The low-hanging fruit immediately. Because anytime I go into discovery mode or I go into investigation mode, I try to get low-hanging fruit first. Okay? Here's the low-hanging fruit that you ought to consider. Is Charlie a racist or a bigot or a homophobic or whatever? Turning Point's ministry or Turning Point's organization is full of black men, black women, and gay men and lesbian women. It's full of them. That's odd, considering the claim is he's racist, homophobic, and a bigot. That's odd. If the messaging was that, it's odd that you have a bunch of black men, black women, gay men, lesbian women in the organization. It's a point that should be considered. Point number 2, Charlie Kirk helped found Black America Coalition that was found upon the premise of trying to help problems in the black community. He helped found that organization. Show me the last black man that helped found an organization to help whites solve their problems in their community. That's not something a racist does. Something to consider. The last point, and I almost want to rest my case here, but some of you might go, that's anecdotal. It's not, but I'm just saying. The people that have a positive message about Charlie, black, white, gay, whatever, were the people that were closest to Charlie. It was the people inside the Turning Point organization. It was his friends. The people that have the negative message about Charlie are all people that never met him. Never talked to him. They're not even involved with Turning Points. They're not even involved with it. In fact, I have not found a black man or black woman or gay man or lesbian woman that was involved with him that has a negative thing to say about him. That should matter. That should matter to you. So why are you listening to all the people that never knew him and were never involved with Turning Points, but the most that they have to understand Charlie Kirk are little bitty clips that they're finding and taking out of context and throwing in front of your face? Why are you listening to them? Check your heart. Check your heart. Why are you listening to them over this message? Check your heart. My point is, I don't think the problem was the message. I think it's the vessel. Check your heart. And if you ain't got the humility to do that, you're the problem. Check your heart. Check your heart. So 4 main issues that you have to not be able to hear Charlie Kirk. 4 main issues, okay? Main issue number 1, we have been taught in this country to define ourselves on labels that are very shallow. Very shallow, right? I'm a gay man. That's how you start your conversation. That's your first label, that you're a gay man? That's what you want to lead with? Your gayness defines who you are as a human being? I'm a black man. Okay? Okay? Right? And what I want to say to you is if your label at the very top of you is your blackness, you're never going to understand Charlie Kirk. You're never going to understand him. Because his whiteness was not what defined him. He was a Christian. He was a American, he was a constitutionalist, he was a conservative. He said it over and over and over and over again. His whiteness was not what defined him. And if your blackness is up here, you're never going to understand him. Don't even try. In fact, you're going to project onto him your issues. You're going to project onto him that he's coming out of his whiteness because you're coming out of your blackness. And that's not what he did. Charlie was first a son of God, made in the imago Dei. And that's how he viewed people. That's why he could stand in front of people spewing hate and respect them and love them back. See, a Christian, my biological sister, if she's not a Christian, I have more in common with a woman in Africa that loves Jesus than I do with my biological sister. Why? Well, number one, she believes the way I believe. Number two, she has the same inheritance that I do one day. Number three, she serves the same king that I serve. None in which my sister does. My biological white sister, my African black sister has more in common with me. Now, praise God, my biological white sister loves Jesus, and we have that. But that's a Christian position, and that was Charlie's position. So if your blackness is like one of your indicators at the top, you're not going to understand him. Don't even try. Number two, Charlie didn't sugarcoat stuff. He just didn't. Our society is all about sugarcoating everything, and we believe that's kindness. He didn't, and I don't either. Number three, acceptance is love. If you love me, you'll accept me for the way that I am. That is what our society believes. Charlie Kirk did not. Charlie Kirk believed that love was pointing you to the objective truth. That's what love was, pointing you to objective truth. And so you might not have the ears to be able to hear that Charlie loves you. But it's interesting to me, right? The same group that is saying that Charlie was a hateful person is the same group of people that have been saying for the last 20 years that everything is subjective and relative. That there's no objective truth, there's no point of reference, it's all relative and subjective to the individual, yet now they're saying that he's a hateful man. My question to you is, what point of reference do you have to say that he's hateful? It's just his subjective opinions. What do you mean hateful? I don't even know what you're saying. What does hateful mean? And you might go, oh, Caleb, that's obvious. It's not obvious. You know how I know? There's a whole group of people that says Charlie's hateful, and there's a whole group of people that said he's loving. It's not obvious. And when you erase the point of reference, when you erase objective truth, you can't even have a conversation anymore. Yeah, over here, y'all want to say he's hateful, but you've erased objective truth and point of reference. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're saying anymore. So these are reasons that are going to keep you from understanding Charlie Kirk. And you need to check your heart. You need to check your heart. Now, like I said, this week is going to be about affirmative action. All about affirmative action. Tomorrow we're going to cover the video that everybody's wanting to talk about, with him talking about the black women, Obama, Joy Behar. We're going to cover that video. But I needed to say these things leading up into it because many of you have already had your minds. You're not open to your minds being changed, and those entry level things for context matters. Okay, so what is affirmative action? What is affirmative action? This matters going into the video tomorrow. Okay, number one, it was a set of policies and practices within a government or organization seeking to address systemic discrimination. Right, systemic discrimination. Where did Charlie, at least in part, get his opinions on affirmative action? Do you know that? Do you know where he got his opinions from? Do you know who he studied to get his opinions? You don't? Well, I'm going to help you out. It was a black man. This is the most comical thing about his opinions surrounding affirmative action. It was a black man. He talks about it. If you looked him up and actually looked into Charlie, you would know. It's Thomas Sowell.
Do you believe that mandatory proportional representation benefits minorities?
No. In fact, I think one of the great handicaps that blacks and other minorities face across the country is that they are systematically mismatched with universities in the admissions process. That is, if Harvard feels that it must have X% of blacks, and if the pool is such that they can't get X% of blacks at the same level as the rest of the Harvard students, they're going to take those blacks who would have succeeded in some state university and bring them to Harvard, where many of them will fail. Or MIT is a better example, that the average black student at MIT is in the bottom 10% of MIT students in math. But he is in the top 90% of all American students in math, because MIT students are so phenomenal in mathematics. Something like 1/4 of all the black students going to MIT do not graduate. You're talking about a pool of people who score at the 90th percentile in math, whom you are artificially turning into failures by mismatching them with the school. Back in much earlier, you had a great increase of blacks in the universities through the GI Bill. You had nothing like that kind of attrition from that process, because the student went wherever he could be accepted, wherever he met the normal standards, and the government simply paid the money.
I gather from your comments about MIT and Harvard that you don't think there's enough blacks out there who are qualified to fill the number of vacancies allotted for them in those schools. Is that right? Is that what
Leave it to Joe Biden to try to twist people's words around, like, and then try to act like he's so innocent in what he's doing. That man ain't changed for decades.
Qualified is really misleading.
Well,
the question is whether or not they are like the other students at Harvard and MIT.
Well, okay. Well, so there's not...
So they may be perfectly qualified. This same student might go through, God help us, I hope there's nobody here from Illinois, Illinois Institute of Technology and do well. But there's no reason why he should fail at MIT. There's no prestige in flunking out of the Ivy League.
I got it. So, but my point is, you believe there are not enough black women and men out there that are the same as white women and men to be able to go through Harvard and MIT.
If there were, it would mean that the whole history of oppression had done no harm whatever.
Well, so the answer is you don't think there are. I just want to figure out what you're saying.
It's not a question of what I think. It's a factual matter.
So factually, you're saying factually there are not enough.
Factually, this study's already been done by Clickguard at Harvard, and the figures are all there. Anyone can look them up.
Okay, no, I just want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. I want to know what you're thinking.
Joe Biden just wants to hear from Thomas Sowell. He's not trying to discredit Thomas Sowell at all. He just wants to hear from him. That's y'all's great white hope, by the way, Democratic Party. Right? I mean, he was literally trying to discredit this man by asking him stupid questions, continuing, and then he tries to go, "Oh, I just want to hear what you're thinking." Psh, incredible. So you hear what Thomas Sowell's saying. He's saying, look, to say otherwise would say that a whole 200 years of oppression had no effect, right? We can acknowledge that. Charlie acknowledged that, right? But affirmative action is not the answer, which is what he's saying too. We might have had the best of intentions with affirmative action. We might have wanted to help the black population and raise them up through affirmative action, but it had negative consequences. It didn't do what we had hoped for it to do. This was Charlie's opinion surrounding affirmative action, right? That we had the best of intentions and we would hope that it would have helped, but it harmed.
The University of California at Berkeley, for example, where the entering freshman class has been described as, quote, wonderfully diverse, unquote, because the, quote, class closely reflects the actual ethnic distribution of California high school students. These are your words. More than 70% of black students fail to graduate.
Yes.
Why?
Because they're mismatched with Berkeley. That is, these students, the average black student at Berkeley is above the national average on test scores. It's just that the average white student is further above the national average, and the average Asian student further above than the white students. And so in that atmosphere, these students who have every qualification to succeed are artificially turned into failures. And the only beneficiary of that is the University of California at Berkeley. Because what they've effectively done is rented these bodies for window dressing for a few years. And then when they're through with them, they're put aside. A new bunch of bodies are brought in.
Have you told them that?
Oh, yes.
And what do they say to you?
Oh, different things. I remember one fellow saying, "Oh, Tom, I'm just a little guy. I can't do anything about this," which, you know, wonderful. But the people who really have the influence are not the people I've talked with. Those people know exactly what they're doing. There's another group, I guess, that benefits from this. You have an establishment there, a black studies establishment, who needs students to be in their classrooms, and these students serve those purposes. People who have political movements have people they can mobilize for those movements while those students are there. It's very much like what happens in athletics, that you have students who come in, as long as they can score touchdowns, the coach is happy. The fact that these students don't graduate is not the coach's problem. His problem is how to hold on to his six-figure salary and his job. And the students have to be sacrificed, then they are sacrificed.
So there it is. It was never about the students, Thomas Sowell says. It was about sacrificing the students so that the university could say, look at our diversity. Look at our diversity. And then as soon as they flunk out, they're like, nah, whatever, we'll get more diversity. We don't care about you. We got more diversity coming in. Or it was about political leaders who had a hand in it to be able to get elected. I'm sure that wasn't it though, right? I'm sure that wasn't it. Right? So if you want to get mad at Charlie Kirk, get mad at Thomas Sowell, a black man, at which at least in part, if not in whole, he got his position from affirmative action. That's where he got it from. Which is the irony in all of this, is that the racist got his position on affirmative action from a black man. It's insane. Now I want you to take all of this that we talked about today, and you're going to apply it in the video that we're going to look at tomorrow about where everyone is saying is that he was discrediting black women because he's a racist. Take this video, apply it tomorrow. See you in the next video.